Hey, yeah, good morning. That's Tuesday morning. It's a Tuesday announcement for week five of the course. Welcome to week five. There's only a couple of weeks left in the course. I want to say that I've read around in your discussion board sections this week as they've been sort of coming in. I didn't have a lot of time to sort of drop in and make some replies, but I really think that you guys have grasped the structure of love medicine in a way, and have begun to sort of theorize some meaning or some to make interpretations of the text based upon the way the novel is structured with its multiple narrative forms and the way it's sort of expanding itself across the 20th century to become what I think it has a real cosmopolitan sort of outlook to it, in a way that is unique, certainly unique when you might begin to compare it to Welch's work in Fool's Crow. It's a much different novel that's attempting to tell a much different story. And there's an awful lot of stories that come that would be, that in the canon that sort of fall between Welch and Erdrich. But I think in comparison of the two works, I think it gives us a really nice broad spectrum from mid 19th century up until a novel that was written in the latter part of the 20th century, but yet manages to encompass the native communities, a fictional native communities experience that in many ways represents, I think, native lives in many tribal communities across the 20th century. Um, I want to, with the viewing of the video that I had you watch last week, I know some of that, yeah, it's the Bill Moyers video. It's pretty dated, but I think it does a pretty good job of getting across some basic ideas, at least behind Erdrich. I use that video because, well, because it's the only one that's transcribed that will provide captions for it, which is necessary in all educational settings to be able to provide a transcript of all captions. But I would certainly encourage you to look around on the internet. The Erdrich and Doris story is one which is fraught with some tragedy. And if you're interested in learning more about the couple as writers and their eventual breakup, to say the least, and I won't go into too much detail, read around on the internet on some of that stuff. And if you have any questions about the life of the author, I'd be happy to answer those as best I can. But I think where we should really maybe concentrate is on the text at hand. I'm having you read for week five if you want to. It's not required, but you may wish to read Liz Cook Lynn's piece on cosmopolitanism and nationalism and sovereignty in Native American literature. She lays out some of the terrain, I think, that many third world writers sort of have to sort of navigate as they begin to write, because in the end, all writers are writing for a marketplace, and that marketplace for American Indian writers, for tribal writers in the United States, that native population that makes up about 1 to 1.5% of the overall U.S. population. So if you wrote, and then if you break that down tribally, it becomes extremely small number of people. The percentage of those people that actually read literature would be even fewer in a tribal community, because let's face it, not a lot of people read literature unless you've got some guy like me who's assigning it to you. So all writers are forced to write to a marketplace, and I think there's specific strains or specific expectations that are placed upon tribal writers to sort of write a story that's popular, but also write a story that in some ways holds some cultural authority to it. And I'm not talking authenticity, but I'm talking about, and by authority, I think that I'm playing on that word author and saying that for someone like Erdrich, she's expected to write this novel that in some way tells the Turtle Mountain Chippewa experience or the Ojibwe experience in the 20th century. And she pulls that off, I think, but also does it beautifully in a way that it's a novel that's read and enjoyed by non-Ojibwe people, myself included, who happens to be Cherokee. So Native writers they're put in a particular sort of position to writing fiction that is both understandable, relatable, across transculturatively, transcends culture in some ways, but also maintaining a certain sense of cultural authority. The novel, the article by Liz Cook Lynn sort of lays out that argument, I think, fairly well. You if you read it, I think it will inform what I'm asking you to do in the discussion session and the journal entries for this week. But in the end, have fun, read the novel, enjoy the read, do your discussion and your journal exercises, and everything will be fine. I've graded, everything was graded up for this week. I haven't checked in to do any grading today. I will get to your discussion sections and get those graded as quick as possible. Everything I saw you guys doing was just fabulous. So if you're doing the work and keeping up with the class, you're going to succeed in this course. Your week 5 assignment has been opened up today. I will also open up week 6's assignment on July 1st, which don't quote me, but I think that should be Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. And so on Wednesday, you'll have both week 5 and 6. You've got week 6 has got an extra assignment. You do have a short final essay where you'll need to watch a film, Indigenous in the City, The Eighth Fire, and you'll need to sort of respond to a pretty open-ended, broad question that I think that if you look back and you summarize over what you learned over the semester, you shouldn't have any problem at all in answering that. So all of that work will be due. I will check back in with you early next week, even though the assignments would have already been released, and we'll talk about the final due dates for all the work in the course. So once again, it's been a quick 5 weeks. I think, the vast majority of you, over 75% of you, are doing really well on this course, and it's because you're taking the time and putting in the effort to do the reading, think about the reading, and to write some really wonderful response papers and discussion and journal sections. I just think you guys are doing a great job. And that's not always the easiest thing to do when you begin to sort of read and learn about a culture that you perhaps have not been exposed to in the past. Once again, as I say every week, any questions at all, please feel free to ask. I am back in town. If you need to meet with me at all, we can certainly arrange that. I'd be happy to sit down and talk to anybody about any aspect of the course or to talk about their academic career in any way if they're needing that kind of advice. I'm here to help you folks in any way I can. So with that, as always, send me an email, send me a text. You can call me if you want. I'll certainly answer the phone, and I'll be happy to answer any questions as quick as I can. Do the work, do the reading, and everything will be great. Okay, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, bye.